Okay, great. So we're going to start off by just taking a little bit of minced shallot.
That's a huge shallot, by the way.
It is.
You can use the whole thing or just half?
No, we're just going to use a little bit minced, just to add a little bit of flavor to the preparation to the potato cake. We're going to use shallot, and then we're going to finish it with a little fresh chive.
Oh, I love chives. Probably my favorite herb. And they're just starting to pop back up in the garden this time of year, which is very exciting. First little sign of spring.
Sure is. So we're going to start off by, we're going to take a little bit of olive oil.
Okay.
And we're not going to caramelize the shallots at all, but we're going to start off by browning a little bit of the chorizo sausage.
All right, so tell me about the chorizo a little bit.
So it's just a Spanish-style pork sausage, and there's cayenne pepper and paprika, and then of course, you know, the ground pork and black pepper, and we're going to just lightly brown the chorizo.
I love chorizo. It's one of my favorite sausages or ground meat products. I think it's got so much flavor in it.
It's going to add a really nice, really nice heat to the potato cake, and then we're going to have that creme fraiche to cool it down.
Nice.
So there'll be a nice, nice combination of flavors.
You really always bring such a nice balance to the food that you make. It's something I've always appreciated about your cooking.
Thank you. So we're just going to lightly brown that, and over here we have a few fingerling potatoes. And we're just gonna cook those in a little salted boiling water with some bay leaf.
Nice. Now, do you start those in cold water and bring them up?
I do.
All right.
Yep, and then simmer them for approximately 15 minutes, depending on the size of the potato. So they always vary in size, so approximately 15 minutes.
Okay. Any particular reason why you like to use the fingerlings?
I just think it's a more flavorful potato,
okay,
and
nice.
And it holds together well. But ultimately, anything I use for a particular dish, it's because of flavor,
cool,
right? And it's going to hold up for the potato cake.
Great. You can see how much fat's already rendered out of that.
Yeah, that's going to be the potato's going to absorb all of that flavor.
Love it. Wow, you can really smell the bay leaves that you just put in that water too.
Yeah,
so fragrant.
Again, it just balances out the potato, adds a nice little dimension to it. That's
right.
it.
You don't really know that it's there.
Right.
But it really adds to the flavor.
All right, so that's almost there. We're gonna add a little bit of shallot, and we're gonna sweat that.
Okay.
All right, so this is almost ready.
It smells unbelievable in here. That chorizo just has so much going on.
And you want to make sure that the pork is fully cooked before you incorporate it, because we're only gonna, when we finish the potato cakes, all we're gonna do is, we just want to we're gonna make it light brown on the potato cake. So you want to make sure it's fully cooked.
That's a good tip.
All right, so at this point, I believe our potatoes are ready to go. So again, they were cooking a little bit before we started the show, so they're all set, and we're going to just strain the water off.
All right. So they're fork tender.
Correct.
Easily pierced with a knife.
And make sure you get all the water out, because that's going to affect the the dryness of the potato.
crisping.
Yeah, and it's going to dilute the flavor a little bit. So this is about 90%, so I'm just going to pull that off.
All right.
And then what we're going to do is we're just going to take a fork and we're going to crush the potatoes.
Grab you a fork.
So we're just going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil in there.
So it's almost like making mashed potatoes.
Same thing. Same thing. We're going to leave the skins on, and we're just going to crush them up right in the pan.
Oh, look at that. Easy enough.
Yep.
And is there any reason you're doing it right in the pan? Is that to kind of...
It's just to keep them hot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
you want to keep them hot. You don't want them to cool down. You want them warm when you're searing them in the pan, because again, you just want to caramelize the potato cake, when you're cooking it. So we're just going to smash it right in here.
Okay. Nice.
All right, so our potatoes, and they don't have to be smooth.
All
they
right,
should
so
be
you
a
want some
little.
chunk in there.
And I'm just going to add a little bit of more black pepper.
And you added salt to that also, right?
Yep.
There you
a little
go.
more salt.
Did you salt the water at all when you cooked those, or no? You did a
Yeah.
little
Yep.
bit?
We salted at the beginning. Yep. And you know, obviously, the better the water tastes or any liquid, the better the end. You know, your
Right,
end
'cause
result
it's
will taste better.
absorbing it, right?
Yep. Okay, so we have the potatoes. I'm going to add a little more olive oil.
Okay. What kind of a consistency are you looking for in terms of
So
the
you just
oil?
want it enough to, you know, you want it to bind up. So
Okay.
when we form the potato cake, you just want it to, you know, hold together essentially.
Okay, great. Are you going to be doing specials for breakfast as well, or are you going to stick to the menu?
No, we're absolutely going to be, because ingredients change so often. You know, early spring is much different than mid-spring, and then,
Definitely.
you know, as we move on, and then, you know, you know, obviously the weather is going to impact when and what we'll have.
Of
So,
course.
you know, we'll definitely offer specials.
That's great. And I have to say, I mean, your knife skills are always so on point here. Those chives are like perfectly sliced.
Sharp knife. That's it.
That's the key.
Okay, so we're gonna taste these to make sure they're seasoned well
You
enough.
could probably eat them just like that. I mean, there's no reason to even take this the next step. More salt.
A little more salt.
I love that you're always tasting your food throughout the process too. It's so important for a chef, but it's surprising how many don't actually do it.
Yeah, because you know, as things reduce, you know, and how long it cooks, it's gonna evolve and change
Exactly. There's
as
really
the
no other way
process
to know.
moves along. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna put folding in the chorizo here,
Yum.
and right in the same pan that we cook the chorizo in, we're gonna sear the potato cakes up.
I love that. We have all that, the fond and the oil and all the flavors in
So,
that chorizo.
yep, all of those flavors will absorb into the potato cake.
So slightly higher heat when we're actually going to crisp the potato cakes up.
Yep, we're gonna serve them nice and golden brown. And they're warm enough just to, they're not too hot.
All right.
So we're just gonna form them into little potato cakes.
Great. Almost like making crab cakes or meatballs almost.
Same thing, yep.
Little patties. How many of these would come in an order typically?
2.
Okay.
Yep. 2 eggs and then 2 of the potato cakes.
Nice.
And it's hot enough now. We're just gonna add that in.
So you don't need any extra oil when you go to cook this. You're just using whatever's.
We're going to add a little bit later
Okay.
in the process because the potatoes are going to continue to absorb all of that. So we're going to add a
point.
little bit more as we cook them. So these are nice and golden brown.
And you can
we're
tell
just
how
gonna-
crispy they are. Look at that. And they're already cooked through in the inside, so you don't have to
Yep.
worry about that.
Nope. So nice and golden brown.
They look like crab cakes, kind of, don't they?
They do. They do. You know what? Quite frankly, you could probably put a little bit of crab meat in
You
there.
probably could.
There are so many things you can
Yeah.
do. This is just a base, and
Right.
then you can make that evolve.
love
And
that.
that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you know, as
exactly.
we move, you know, as time passes, the dishes are going to continue to evolve.